Well, it seems like I do these at least every other year. If you've been following me around for a couple of years at this point, you may have noticed that I sometimes do a follow-up video on Citadel Forged with Fire. Sort of just talk about and see where the game is currently at, state some of my personal opinion and experiences. And since the game is currently on sale on Steam, there is no better way of doing this than now. But also, with that being said, this will probably be the last time I cover this game simply because the game is no longer being updated at this point. The development of this game seems to be completely done. There had been a few patches produced before the initial plug was pulled, but other than that, Citadel Forged with Fire seems to be completely done in terms of support and further development. Let's address the biggest elephant in the room. How does the game perform on the console? And does it suck? Well, to answer that shortly, I started off playing Citadel Forged with Fire on PlayStation 4, then upon purchasing PlayStation 5, played some on the new gen console, and now I play on PC. Obviously, computer performance is incredible and it does not get any better than PC. It's just how it is. But understandably so, everybody has different budget. Not everybody can play on PC, And going back to basically what I was saying, even after experiencing this game for the very first time on PlayStation 4, I had a blast. The game ran smooth, the frame rate was great for the given console that is. My overall enjoyment for Citadel Forged with Fire was very much worth every dollar spent. And obviously, if you have the next gen console, or better yet, PC, your experience will only improve from that point forward, even in terms of experiencing the vanilla version of the game. Which leads to my next topic of this video, mods. Unfortunately, throughout this game's existence, mods were never a thing. Now, I'll be completely transparent with you all. I don't necessarily know the process behind modding, especially when it comes to the logistics side of things. But to my understanding, the game was never designed or optimized enough to support mods. Let's just put it that way. Which is a shame because mods have tendencies of bringing games to the surface, even if the game struggled with popularity in the first place. The game came out in July of 2017 and it struggled with gaining traction ever since. 2017 in general was a very competitive year when it comes to gaming, and unfortunately due to the nature of player demand, it fluctuates all the time, and 2017 was no exception to that. Basically, Citadel Forged with Fire had a really difficult time during that period. Fast forward to 2022, it was holding on to the last straw, and the only thing that really was giving this game hope or any excitement was its new upcoming updates, which was a new secret map along with some performance improvements and many other new additions to the game. Although the new update was a huge for Citadel Forged with Fire, the game's popularity really did not change at all, which I would imagine would be very discouraging for its development team, putting all that effort into the game, but then it just never took off. Don't get me wrong, you can still find players active on Citadel Forged with Fire. You can still find communities and groups and be a part of it. But I can certainly promise you it's not populated whatsoever. Now, we just slightly touched the bases on the logistics side of things for this game. Let's talk about the game as a whole, because that's probably why you're here in the first place. Citadel Forged with Fire was Valheim before Valheim was Valheim, if that makes any sense. Valheim is obviously a Viking-based title, and it is very much its own baked project. That's just purely incredible, by the way. Citadel Forged with Fire, on the other hand, was the exact same thing, but taking inspiration from the Harry Potter in terms of content, and overall theme of the game was perfect. Basically, instead of Viking, you are a wizard or a witch based on the gender that you pick, or whatever you want to call yourself, which is still a very cool and incredible concept, and I admire the hell out of that. Now, before I proceed further, let me just get this clear right away. If you are looking to buy this game, whether it's single player or multiplayer, let's say single player only, and you could completely care less about the multiplayer and you're not a people's person, by all means buy this game right now. It will certainly have more than enough content for you to enjoy and stay busy with. I guess I should have addressed that at the very beginning of the video and not necessarily midway through, but this game will only make it or break it for you based on what kind of player you are and your play style. If you enjoy interaction between other players or even crave that competition, then the lack of player base will throw you off a lot. You just will not get that Rust feel to it at all. However, if you don't care about the multiplayer and look for a game with a polished building system that has enough content to keep you busy with one or a couple of your friends, you will more than likely enjoy this game. Majority of my time was spent solo, and I don't regret playing it. I bought it the first time for $40 on console on PlayStation 4, and I bought it again for exact same price on PC. Don't get me wrong, you can still enjoy a solid PvP experience, it's just that you will have to do some searching for that group first before anything else, and you will actually do a lot of it. Now, with all that being said, I think the only thing I wish they would improve on would be animation. Animals and AIs in this game are so robotic, it's tedious. I think there's solo developers out there that can do a better job. Some argue that this project was left behind, or due to the lack of better term, abandoned. And it's just not true. Developers achieved everything they had on their to-do list and they simply moved on. In other terms, they were no longer interested in pursuing this project as a whole. Rest assured, if you decide to pick this up, you will not be playing a game that's unfinished. The game is pretty solid if you ask me. It just lacks in player base, animation if that's something you care about, and mods. Quite frankly, if mods were present, perhaps none of these issues would be a thing, and maybe the game would have some sort of traffic at this point. But I guess we would never find out. I wish all of you best of luck in searching for that perfect survival game. If this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, hit that like button for me, will you? If this is your type of content, you enjoy hearing about new games, new updates about survival games, consider subscribing. I do these basically twice or 3 times a week. This was your boy Roos, and I'm out. Goodbye.